Hey everyone, Dan Toman here today. So very quick front office topic, but a very important one. Let's talk about the integrity of our rate segments. So most hotels have a few different rate segments. You've got retail, discount, group, and negotiated. Those are pretty typical, four typical segments that most hotels operate with the bulk of their rates as are loaded in their property management systems. All right. So retail usually is your best available rate. It's going to be your normal selling rate for any given day. Discount is going to be things like AAA promotions. You might be running length of stay promotions. You're probably going to throw if you have a comp rate plan in there, which would be a management approved rate plan. Things like that are going to be in your discount bucket. Group is pretty obvious what that is. All right, so group is going to be your group rates. If you've got a few different group rate plans loaded, group 1, group 2, so on and so forth, that's very property specific. So be sure to default to how your property is set up, as well as negotiated. Negotiated are going to be the rate plans that are out there for your corporate negotiated accounts. All right. Different properties have different LNR, local negotiated rates. Those are arranged by your sales office or your general manager if at a smaller hotel. Okay. So anyhow, maintaining the integrity of these segments and of our rates. All right. So say you've got someone that you've got to input a comp room for or zero out a rate for something. There's reasons why we're not going to sit here and override best available rate to a $0 rate just because, oh, I need to put in this comp rate and the comp rate plan, the rate plan called comp or complimentary, is zeroed out for, or it's closed out for tonight. So I can't do it, but I've got to get this $0 rate in. Okay? That's probably not the right answer. You're going to want to choose, if something like that is closed out, but you have to do it, and your override doesn't work, and there's a bona fide reason you have to do it, you want to pick something that's also going to be in that same bucket, okay? So something else that's in the discount bucket if you really have to override it. We want to get in the habit of not overriding, okay? But let's face it, folks, there's times you have to, okay? If you've got that guy that's checking in and or a walk-in, if your hotel has a policy, depending on how your management has this set up, of getting heads in beds, if it's a low occupancy time and if it's over what it's going to cost us to make that room up and what our real minimum rate is. And most hotels have that figured out for different times of the year, what our true rock bottom is going to be on certain days, so on and so forth. You're going to want to pick a rate that's in the right segment, okay? So moral of the story, we want to not get in the habit of overriding, but we know that it's going to happen sometimes. But you don't want to go messing with the integrity of best available and of different rate segments, okay? If you've got to override, keep it in the right segment, please. That's going to really help our reporting. That's going to help a lot of the decisions that we make for the betterment of our property throughout the year and in the future, even beyond that. We refer back to this data an awful lot when making decisions for the future, when making budgetary decisions, and making different rate decisions as we move along. And we want to ensure that our welcome desk associates, our directors of first impressions, really understand the importance of not just picking to pick. That we understand, and we understand just how important our roles are, and the details that we choose, the details that we put on reservations, the detailed that we get with our reservations when we're making them and when we're inputting them, that the data that comes out of our system is solid data, it's accurate, and it's good stuff that we can use as we move on down the road. It'll only make us a far more successful hotel the better information and the more accurate that our directors of first impressions, our in-house reservationists, and anyone answering the phone has done on our bookings as they occur. Okay? So if you input a lot of reservations, or if you only input a few, and you might work night audit and not have to make a lot of reservations, if you notice frequently that, gosh, over these days, I'm having to input a lot of these reservations, but the rate plan that I need just isn't there, or it's all closed out. And why? Please, your role in this is very important. We are all human at the end of the day. We are humans working with computers, okay? There's mistakes that happen. Your manager and this company, we rely on you. If you see something that, I need this rate plan, all these bookings are coming through, this isn't making sense, or why don't we have this loaded? Say something. Jot a note down, shoot an email, make a phone call. It's only going to help our data in the end, folks. So, moral of the story, make notes, throw it under your manager's door if they're not there. Hey, I just don't understand why this isn't available for me. We need this. Or this rate plan's not matching up. Or I've had to input reservations for this if your system might not be interfaced. Some of our hotels are not interfaced. And it's not available for me to input this rate plan when I need to. Okay? But moral of the story, just watch that integrity and don't override if you don't need to. And if you need to, make sure you're picking from the correct segment of what you would have had to override. Okay, folks? So we want to keep that data as clean as we can and as complete as we can. Same thing goes with guest reservations, guest information. I've talked about this before. Really try to get complete guest contact information. Okay? We talked about the comment fields, notes fields, just how important all that information you can gather and input is. Your property might have ways of abbreviating certain things. That's great, as long as everyone knows what you're abbreviating and the common abbreviations. I love using abbreviations in kind of a shorthand, if you will. Different properties have different ways of doing that, little internal systems that they all know. Be sure to come up with a plan with your team and with your coworkers so that everybody knows the consistencies there, okay? But the more complete information on a reservation, the better. So when we've got to reunite people with their lost and found, if there's a billing issue, for marketing efforts down the road, just put the extra 2 seconds in there and get the data, okay? Plus it's going to give you a little bit more time to talk to that guest, make some conversation with them, so on and so forth. So we're going to have great integrity and consistency with using the right rate segments. We're not going to override any more than we absolutely need to. If we need to override rates, we're keeping it in the same segment at least, and then we're ensuring we're doing the best we can for complete guest contact information, accurate guest contact information, and we're going to use notes and comments and traces just whenever possible, because those are going to help guest service and help us facilitate a fantastic stay for that guest. All right, everyone. Hope it's a great day where you're at. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it much.